Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about the first movie in our Disney event, which is Mulan, an animation adventure family film from 1998. This has a 7.6 on 238,393 votes. The spoiler-free synopsis. Fearful that her ailing father will be drafted into the Chinese military, Mulan takes his spot. Though, as a girl living under a patriarchal, she is technically unqualified to serve. She cleverly impersonates a man and goes off to train with fellow recruits. Accompanied by her dragon, Mushu, she uses her smarts to help ward off a Hun invasion, falling in love with a dashing captain along the way.
So this is directed by two people, Tony Bancroft and Barry Cook, and was what I checked. This is the only movie they've ever done together, directing wise. Voice actors, Ming-Na Wen, Eddie Murphy, and B.D. Wong. And I gotta give some singing voice credits to Leah Salonga, who did the singing voice for Mulan, and Donny Osmond, who did the singing voice for Shang.
Yep. I like B.D. Wong. He's in a lot of things.
He is.
We've had him before, actually, on our list. He's in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
He's a scientist.
I was like, in another event we had Leah.
Yeah.
I was like, and Leah did the singing voice for Jasmine.
Yep.
In Aladdin, which we had last Disney event.
Yep. So, ratings for this. On IMDb, 29.3% of users that rated this rated it at an 8. On Metacritic, it has a 71%. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 85% on 75 critical reviews. So, two of the fresh. Moira McDonald. Overall, this is a lovely film, ranking with the best of Disney's animated features while taking on rather serious issues of war, honor, gender roles, and family pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Richard Corliss. What's terrific about Mulan is it's reaching for emotions that other movies run from. Family love and duty, personal honor and group commitment, obedience and ingenuity. Yeah, it was at some time. It was all about the princesses. So too rotten. Todd McCarthy goes about halfway towards setting new boundaries for Disney's movies and the industry's animated features, but doesn't go far enough. Yeah, I think if they had left out the love interest part, it would have been like a new, just completely new stuff. Liam Lacey, a disappointment for anyone hoping that the studio would raise the standard of the animated feature to a new level. I mean, it's animated the same way as everything else, if that's what you mean.
Like, what are you trying to get at here?
Yeah.
This is the late 90s.
Like, maybe they were hoping to get better animation? I don't know.
People, that's the 90s.
Yeah, but it's the late 90s.
Don't matter.
So the consensus. Exploring themes of family, duty, and honor, Mulan breaks new ground as a Disney film while still bringing vibrant animation and sprightly characters to the screen. So, the money. The budget for this film was $90 million. Its opening weekend, it made $22,745,143. Domestically, it made $120,620,254. Internationally, it made $183,700,000 for a worldwide total of $304,320,254. top lifetime adjusted gross, adjusted to 2020, it is number 433. So the awards for this was nominated for 1 Oscar. It won 17 other awards and had 21 other nominations. So the Oscar that it was nominated for was Best Music Original Musical or Comedy Score. But it did not win that one. And then Golden Globes, it was nominated for Best Original Score Motion Picture and Best Original Song Motion Picture. The song was for Reflection. And it did
Beautiful song.
Yeah. It did not win either of those. So a lot of the other awards and nominations were for the animation as well as the music. So, initial thoughts?
I love this movie. I do remember when it came out, and I do remember watching it. I instantly fell in love with this movie because it was so different from everything else I'd been watching. Because, you know, a bunch of princess movies come out, and this one is completely different. It's about a strong, independent girl just kicking butt. I loved it. And I remember in elementary school, after this came out, I was, completely obsessed with it. So I had a purple lunchbox with Mulan on it. And I carried it around with me all the time. Because I loved it that much. So yeah, I absolutely love this movie. It's like, in like my top favorite animated movies, I would say that. So many great lines. I love the music in this movie. Yeah, I just loved it because you're so different from everything else I had seen. So,
I don't really remember the first time I saw this either. It was very little, I know. I did love it a lot. Mostly because I hated the princess movies. I was so tired of the princess movies. And then finally there came a movie where the main girl was like the main character. And she was kicking butt and taking names. And she was kind of like a tomboy type almost. And that's really how I was when I was little. So I was happy that there was finally someone that was more like me. Even though I'm not a warrior.
You're strong, independent.
Yeah. But yeah, I was very excited that there was one that was more like me, because none of the rest of them really reminded me of myself. I think Mulan was the first one to really remind me of myself. So this was like the first one that had people in it that I really, really liked. Because, like, the rest of them, I didn't really care. Like, I'll watch them, yeah, sure. But I didn't really love them. This was the first, like, people one that I loved. Because, like I said, I love the animal ones.
You do. You love the animal ones.
So,
I mean, because Lion King's your favorite.
Yeah, Lion King is my favorite Disney movie. But yeah, I agree. The music in this is great. I think this is the best score of a Disney movie.
Oh, it's up there with me. It is.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is the best, like, songs and best score of Disney movies. Like, I don't think any, like, there are some other ones that I do really, really like that are up there, but this one, for me, is the best. Lots of good voice acting. It's got a really good story, like we talked about. It's different than the other ones. And then, lots of good quotes, like you said.
We have so many favorite lines.
Yes.
We were talking about it before we started recording.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, that's all I got.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
So that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening and come back after you've watched it. So we start off, we're in ancient China, and we see the Great Wall of China. It was built to keep the Han army out of China. And it didn't do too well in this movie because They're coming on over the wall.
Yeah, these huge grappling hooks just get thrown over. It's like, you see, like, these Huns just, like, climbing up and everything. Yeah. And, of course, like, the guards are like, well, we gotta light a signal, you know, because they're here.
Yeah. So, signal gets lit, and so the whole wall gets lit up, because the signal passes on and passes on. And so we jump to the Emperor, and we see him, and there's some people there talking to him, and they are trying to get their army going. Like, get the Chinese army ready to fight the Huns. And there's a few of them, like the general, he's trying to say, you know, hey, we're going to leave a few people here with you. And the Emperor's like, no, you're going to take everybody. People are more important than I am.
He's like, send your troops out to defend the people.
That would never fly. Never. They would never do that.
No, but, you know, it's the Emperor. He does what he wants. And he gets his advisor, Chifu. He's like, I need you to send out conscription notices to all the villages, you know, round up troops.
Yeah.
And then it goes to, you see, Mulan. This is Mulan.
Yep.
And she is writing on her arm and practicing what she's supposed to be saying. Like, all these qualities that she should have or something. And she's trying to, like, she's running late because it's Mulan.
Yeah.
And she gets her little dog. The dog's name's Little Brother.
Yeah. And that's actually, I love this movie so much that's what I put my little brother's name as in my phone, is Little Brother. And because I did that, he put my name as Big Sister in his phone.
Oh, I like it.
So yeah.
That's cute. And she gets her dog to help her, you know, like, do her chores, like feeding the chickens and all that.
Yeah.
And you see her dad is in, like, their little temple area, praying for Mulan to impress the matchmaker.
Yeah.
That's where she's supposed to be heading towards. But, you know, it's Mulan. She's late.
Every time I hear them say matchmaker, all I can think of is Mrs. Doubtfire. That song, there's like a tiny little song in there where, you know, when he's doing the makeover thing.
Matchmaker, make me a match.
Yeah, that's all I can ever think of.
That's from a musical.
Well, for me, it's from Mrs. Doubtfire.
The musical it's from is Fiddler on the Roof.
Don't ever plan on seeing it.
Probably not. That's okay, but that's what that's from, if you didn't know that. And so, the chickens are, like, the dog brings, like, the chicken feed, you know, like, in the temple, like, surrounds him, and, like, chickens, like, pop in, like, you know, eating. He's like, please help her, please. And so, she comes up, she brings her father tea and everything. He has a cane.
Yeah, he's a little bit older.
He's older, he's been through war stuff, and, you know, he's older. And he's like, you need to be in town already. Go.
Yeah.
And so it jumps over to, like, in, like, the little town they're at, and you see Mulan's mom and her grandma waiting for Mulan. And I love the grandma.
Yeah, I love
She cracks me up.
She's so funny.
She cracks me up because she's got a cricket, and crickets are supposedly lucky.
Yeah.
And she tests this cricket that she has to see if it's lucky.
Yeah, she just covers her eyes and walks across the street.
And it works! Because nothing hits her, and she walks across unscathed, and she's like, yep, it's the lucky one.
Yep.
And Mulan shows up, of course, on horseback, you know, and she looks like an utter mess, because, you know, she'd been riding.
Yeah.
Like, hair's all messed up and all that. And they're like, oh, you should have been here already. And they, like, push her into, like, this, I call it, like, a salon, kind of.
Yeah.
And this is where the song Get Honor to Us All. And this is talking about, you know, how girls, how they can bring honor to their families by getting a match.
Yep. But I really like this song. I mean, like I said, I love all the music in this. I really like this song.
It's a good song. I like it, too. They're, like, helping her get ready and everything. And her mom sees that Mulan had been riding on her arm. She's like, what's this?
Yeah.
She's like, just in case I forget. It's like, oi, Mulan, really?
Yeah.
And, like, you see that Mulan is not, this is, like, not her thing.
Yeah,
like,
she's not really happy about it.
No, like, she's walking by, she helps somebody win at checkers and everything.
Yeah. So they get in their little line, there's like 4 or 5 other girls, or 4 or 5 total there with Mulan. And the matchmaker, she comes out and calls Mulan's name. And of course, right off the bat, Mulan does not do a great job.
She's like, present!
So she gets a mark off for speaking without permission or something like that.
I'm like, but you called her in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, I'm here, hey.
Yeah, so she goes in, and she has to, like, follow this lady's instructions, and it doesn't go so well.
The ink that Mulan had written on her arm got on the matchmaker's hands, and matchmaker accidentally gets it on her face and draws, like, herself a little, what was it, mustache beard combo.
Yeah. And, also, the cricket is in there, so when she, like, goes to pour the tea, the cricket is in the tea.
It's a cricket bath. That's what I called it.
Yeah.
And she tries to, like, the matchmaker's gonna drink the tea, but with the cricket in it, and Mulan's like, I need that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, the tea gets, like, all over the place. And it spills on the matchmaker, and the cricket just, like, he's not helping at all.
So it just kind of all goes wrong.
She falls on, like, the matchmaker falls on the fire, and Mulan's trying to help her out by fanning it, but that doesn't help because it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
And then finally, like, she just pours the tea on her. She calls it good.
Yeah. And she runs out, and then the matchmaker runs out after her and is, like, yelling, you know, you'll never bring honor to your family and stuff like that. Yeah, it doesn't go so well.
No. And, like, so Mulan heads home and everything, and her, like, father's waiting to see what happened, and she's just ashamed. She's like, I can't face him right now. And this is where you get the song Reflection.
Yeah.
And she's all dolled up and made up and everything, but she knows that's not her true self.
Yeah.
And she's like, when is it gonna match?
Yeah. She just really wants to know herself. Like, she wants other people to know herself, really. Like, she wants to show it.
She's smarter than they think.
Yeah.
She's not just a girl that's to be, just, you know, put with a man and call it good. That's not the way she wants to bring honor to her family.
Yeah. But, you know, it's in ancient China, so that's just the way it is at that point in time. Which sucks, but, you know, that's the way it works.
After the song finishes up and everything, she had wiped off her makeup by then. And her father's sitting under this tree with her. It's a beautiful tree. It's got flowers and everything. And he comforts her. He's like, you know, he like does like a little analogy, like, you know, that flower hasn't blossomed yet, but when it does, it'll be the most beautiful one of all. So he's just trying to cheer her up.
Yeah.
And then you hear drums.
Yeah, the drums come from the soldiers on their way.
And this is Chifu is here, and he's telling that the Huns have come, and they need, you know, one man from each family to sign up.
Yeah.
And so he's calling out names, and then he calls out Mulan's family name.
Yeah.
Her father has to go out because he doesn't have any sons. He just has Mulan. And she tries to stop him. She's like, he's already served. He's, you know, he's hurt. He can't do it.
Yeah.
And her father's like, go away.
Yeah, he's like, you shame me. Which, I mean, that's not a good thing to hear when you're, like, a teenager or whatever. And so it's kind of sad, but
her dad goes inside after he gets, his conscription noticed, and he goes inside. He goes to check on his old uniform he has, and his sword, and he tries practicing with it, but he can't really do it.
Yeah.
And Mulan's watching, like, this entire time he's doing that.
Yeah, she sees everything, and she's not very happy about it, so she gets this idea that she's gonna take over and do it for him.
She has the idea. She talks at, dinner, and she tells her family, she's like, I don't think you should go.
Yeah.
She's very opinionated. She says what she's thinking. And, her dad tells her, you need to remember your place.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen with Mulan. No. She runs out. She's sitting under this stone dragon, and it's raining and everything. She's sitting out there thinking, and she sees her parents, through the house and everything, and her mom's just upset.
Yeah.
And so she decides that she goes in the temple and she prays, and she takes his place.
Yeah.
She takes the notice, the paper, and she leaves her hair clip that she had gotten.
Mm-hmm.
She cuts her hair with the sword, which is super, classic scene there. Pretty iconic scene.
Yeah.
With her cutting her hair short. Puts it up and puts on her father's uniform. And she goes to get her horse out. The horse is scared because it's like, I don't recognize you. Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
But she calms the horse down and they leave. They ride off.
Yep. And they're heading off to war.
And Grandma, she wakes up because she gets ancestors woke her up or something. And she wakes up to say Mulan's gone. Yep. And her dad checks to see if his uniform's still there because he noticed the hair clip's there and his papers are gone. And he sees it. It's all gone. And so he's like, her mom's like, go after her, get her back. And he's like, I can't, because if I reveal her, she's dead, pretty much.
They're gonna kill her if I reveal her. Which, I mean, he's right. In that time, that she would have died.
And so, Grandma's calling on the ancestors and everything. And you see the first ancestor, he wakes up.
Yep.
And he wakens Mushu.
Yeah. Because Mushu is the one who wakes up the rest of the ancestors.
Yeah, he's a dragon. A little red dragon.
Yeah.
But he was a guardian for the family, but he got demoted.
Yeah, because he messed up.
He messed up a bit.
Because he got one of the other people killed. With their head chopped off somehow.
And he's like, I'll go. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, right. We're gonna trust you.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll get the Great Stone Dragon to do it.
Yeah, so he has to go wake up this Great Stone Dragon. Which doesn't go too well either.
He's trying to wake up this stone dragon up, but he hits it with his gong, and the ear chips off, and then it just crumbles.
Yeah.
And so Mushu has to fake that he's a stone dragon. And he's like, I'll go after Mulan and everything.
Yeah.
So he's like, great. Now I have to, what am I going to do? And Cricky, the little cricket, the lucky cricket, is there. And he's like, well, I'm going to have to bring her back, a medal, a hero and everything. And Cricky's like, I'll come with you. He's like, why do I want to bring you? He's like, because I'm lucky. It's like, okay, whatever you say. So they have to go after Mulan.
Yeah. So they head out to go find Mulan. And Mulan has arrived, and she's at the outskirts of the camp. And she doesn't quite want to go in yet. She's scared, rightfully so. She's scared.
She's practicing her man voice.
Yeah, she's talking to her horse. Practicing her man voice.
And the horse is just laughing at her.
Yeah. And that's when Mushu and Cricket find her. And they kind of come up in her talking to her, and she kind of freaks out a little bit, and then finds out, oh, it's just my little guardian, and she's like, wait, they sent you.
She's like, I sent a little lizard.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm travel size.
Yeah. And so he, like, kind of talks to her and gives her some advice and stuff, and at first she's, like, not listening at all, and then she finally decides to listen to him. So she goes into the camp and is, like, getting ready to introduce herself and everything, and she's following Mushu's instructions, and that doesn't go too well. She ends up starting this big, huge brawl.
Like, Rice gets knocked over and everything.
Yeah. And all the while this is going on, or in, like, one of the tents, the General Lee is talking to his son, who is the head of this camp, and then the Emperor's advisor.
General's talking with Chang.
Yeah.
And Chifu.
Yeah. And Chang is his son, who is like he ends up leaving him as the leader of this camp.
He makes him captain. He's like, I'm gonna leave you here, just instruct him, and then, tells Chifu, I'm like, hey, I need a report in like a couple weeks, see how everything's going.
Yeah.
And Chifu's kind of a dick.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna leave a single thing out. And I'm just like, alright, whatever, you little shithead.
And they walk out and they see like this whole mess going on. They're like, oh Lord.
Yeah. The general's like, good luck. And he leaves. He's just like, I'm done with this.
He's like, I'm out. Peace, y'all.
This ain't my job. So he leaves, and Chang tries to get this all in order, and the guys reveal that Mulan was the one to start the fight. So he's questioning Mulan. He's like, what's your name? And she doesn't really know what to say.
Doesn't know what to call herself as a man. And Mushu's trying to give her names, but he's not helping.
Yeah.
Finally comes up with one name that works.
Yeah. Ping.
Yes.
Is going to be Mulan's name while she's in the military. So, gives a name and everything. And then we get to training, and we get the beginning of the I'll Make a Man Out of You, which is such a great song.
That was my jam, like my junior year of high school.
I love that song.
I love this song. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just going through, like, their training, and
Yeah.
Mulan's not doing very well with this at all.
Yeah.
And Shang notices, and no one else is really doing that good either, but she's doing worse than everybody else.
Yeah.
So he tries to send her packing, and she's not going to take that. No.
Yeah.
And so she proves him wrong,
Yep.
pretty much. She's the best out of all of them.
Yep. She ends up up on the top of that little pole and gets the arrow because she figures out how to get up there with the weights, and then she just does everything better than everybody. And then, yeah, we get to see the Huns, and they are planning an ambush on General Lee and his army.
Because they summoned this doll what is it, a falcon or something?
Yeah.
Had taken, and they're like, oh, well, we better return this doll to its owner.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is dark.
Yeah.
That is so dark.
Yeah.
And then it goes to, after that, it goes to Mulan. She's gonna take a bath in the pond. And Mushu's like, what are you doing? You're gonna reveal the secret.
Yeah.
And so she's in there swimming and everything, and then you get the three guys that come in to the pond. Yeah. Everybody's naked. Everybody, because you see the three guys that jump in are Yao, Shinpo, and Ling.
Yep.
They jump in. They're like, let's start over. Let's be friends. And she's trying to, like, get out as soon as she can.
Yeah.
And she's, like, covering up, like, this top part of her. And I'm just cracking up.
Yeah, because she's, like, down in the water a little bit to make sure that they don't see.
They don't see anything. And Yao decides to stand up on a rock.
Yeah.
And she's, like, covering her eyes, like, oh, dear Lord. I don't want to see a naked man.
Yep.
And Mushu helps her out by biting Ling.
Yep.
And they freak out and they, like, just, like, kind of swim away and, like, hop on a rock. And she gets out.
Yep.
And then everyone else just jumps in, too.
Yeah,
at
right
this
after
point.
she says, I don't want to see another naked man in my life. And they all run by. And then Mushu's like, I ain't biting no more butts.
No more.
Yeah. This movie's great. I love this movie.
And then it goes to, Chifu is talking to Shang and the tent. He's like, yeah, these troops are not great. I'm not, my report's gonna show that they're not ready and all that.
Yeah.
And Shang's like, they completed their training. They're good.
Yeah. Because he's like, well, they're not disciplined. And Mushu and the Cricket overhear this, and he's like, nuh-uh. My girl is going into battle. So they go in there and, like, fake a letter. And then they decide to deliver it themselves, dressed up in armor.
They tried to use the horse, but the horse was not having it.
Yeah.
And so they use a panda.
And I was just always wondering where they got the panda from.
I guess it's China. There's pandas around. I don't know.
I really have no idea where they got the pandas from, but it's
like, what? Where's the panda from? But
Yeah.
okay. And then, they give the letter to Chifu saying, because he went to the pond and he got, was out of it because they're making fun of him. He gets the letter and he's like, he reads it and he runs to Shang. He's like, we gotta go. They need us.
Yeah.
And they head out and they're marching. And it's a song, A Girl Worth Fighting For.
Yep. And they're all just kind of talking about, like, when they get home and, like, all the glory that they'll have and stuff like that. And the fact that they really want to have a girl when they get home, pretty much.
They're describing what kind of girl they want. And Mulan's like, what about, like strong women? They're like, no.
Yep.
Because that's not normal.
Yeah.
At that time. And it's in the snow. They're playing in the snow too. There's snowballs.
Yeah.
And I love how the song ends. It ends abruptly.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, we're done. Because they come across a ruined city. The city that they were supposed to be heading to meet General Lee.
That place is burned down.
Yeah. So they're looking around for survivors and stuff, and Chifu, he kind of goes over and he ends up finding tons of bodies, and
it's like a massacre.
Yeah.
And Shinpo comes with the general's helmet and says, the general, saying that he's dead.
Yeah.
And he gives it to Shang, because that's his dad.
Yep. And it's all very sad, and he's sad, and so they do the little sword and the helmet on the sword with the little girl's doll, because they did find the little girl's doll.
Yeah. And they're like, well, we're the only ones left.
Yep. So they head on out, because that's, like, they think that they really have orders, and, I mean, technically they do. They're just not real orders.
I mean, it works now. They've realized they're the only ones left, so.
Yeah.
So they're going through the mountain. They have to go through this pass. And all of a sudden this cannon goes off. Because they have the car and it's full of the cannons. And it goes off. And it, like, fires off. And Mulan turns around and you see Mushu and Cricky. And Mushu's like, it's Cricky. And Cricky's like, what? That was so not me.
Yeah.
And Shane gets mad. He's like, you gave our position, gave out our position. And then all of a sudden you see, like, this arrows just flying.
Yep. So then they're in battle with the Huns.
It's like, there's a lot of Huns, too.
Yeah, there's a ton. So they're firing off the little rocket things and trying to fend them off and everything. And then there's one rocket left and not gonna use it yet. We're gonna wait because we're gonna shoot it right at Shan Yu, who is like the leader of the Huns.
Yeah, and Mulan, she sees in her sword that on the very top of the mountain, right above them, over there, is a bunch of snow.
Yeah.
And she's like, we can do more damage that way.
Yeah, we can get more of them that way.
And so she steals that cannon.
Yep.
And she's running out and everything. And there's like this whole army just like coming down on her and everything. And she plants the cannon and Shan Yu's coming. And she like loses her flint and everything that she'd been trying to use it to light the cannon. And Mushu's with her. So she uses Mushu instead.
Yeah.
And she shoots the cannon right as Shan Yu pulls up to her.
Yeah.
And she's pretty smug about it. Yeah. And because she knows that she hit it correctly and it causes an avalanche.
Yeah.
And Shan Yu's not very happy about that, so he slices her as she runs away.
Yep. And then the avalanche comes and everything, and everybody's like trying to get away, and it's all this just big massacre, chaos thing, and the Huns are all getting buried in the snow. Shang's like I keep forgetting his name for some reason. Shang is like trying to get away, but he's getting caught in the snow. Mulan is riding her horse, but getting caught in the snow, and she manages to save Shang. And so they're going, and the other warriors are trying to save her, but they shoot the arrow with the rope attached and then just let it go. But Mulan ends up with the arrow, and she maneuvers it and uses it to be able to save them, her and Shang and the horse.
Yeah, and they pull up, like, they all, like, Chimpo, because he's a really big dude, just, like, helps pull up, like, the rope with Mulan and the horse and everything.
Yeah.
They're all okay now. And Shang thanks Ping, for saving his life and everything. He's like, you have my trust now. And Shang sees that Ping is hurt and everything. He, like, calls for help. He's like, hey, need some help here. They're wounded.
Yeah.
And all of that. And then because she faints, and it looks like he's trying to say Mulan, but he's really saying hold on.
Yeah.
And it goes to, like, they're, like, waiting outside this tent where the doctor is, like, looking at Mulan. And the doctor comes out and talks to Shang. And Mushu and Cookie are like, oh, crap. They found out, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Shang goes in, and Mulan sits up, and he's like, oh, she's a woman.
Yeah.
And Shifu, like, pulls her out of the thing, because, like, I knew she was a woman and everything. He's like, oh, you know what the penalty is, She's like, I was just doing it to save my father's life and all of that. She's got good reasons.
Yeah.
She does. And so Shang pulls out, like, her sword, and he was gonna do it, but he drops it right in front of her. And he's like, my life, a life for a life.
Yep.
We're even.
He doesn't kill her, even though he technically should, because she saved his life.
It's even now.
Yeah.
So they just leave her there.
Yeah. They all head off and stuff, and she has to head home, and so she's like gonna go on her way home and stuff, but as she's heading that way, she notices the eagle and then also notices that some of the Huns survived the avalanche.
They pop out of the snow.
Yeah. Including the head guy, Shan Yu. So she decides that she has to go warn everybody. And so then we get to see the parade for the heroes of China, is what they get called. Because, they saved everybody.
And Mulan shows up on her horse, and she's trying to talk to Shane. She's like, hey, the Huns are here. You gotta, keep an eye out.
Yeah.
And he's not believing her.
Yeah.
And so she tells the others, she's like, keep an eye out. I know they're here. And she goes into, like, the big all celebration, right? Like, the Emperor's Palace and everything. It's a huge crowd of people, and she's trying to get people to listen to her.
Yeah.
But, since she's a woman, they're not going to listen to her.
Yeah. So they get Shang and his troops get up to the top and they're being honored and stuff, and they get Shan Yu's sword, and it's kind of when all the chaos comes through, is because the eagle comes down and snatches the sword away and takes it up on top of the roof to Shan Yu, and then in the little dragon that was following them, some more soldiers jump out and they fight everybody off. Shang and Ling and Yao and Qin Po, they fight them all off and take the emperor
into the palace. And they're trying to break through the door with this huge statue.
Yeah.
Mulan's like, you're not going to get there in time.
Yeah.
And so she convinces Yao, Ling, and Qin Po to follow her, and they put on disguises.
Yeah.
They all dress as women.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And so they're gonna climb up the poles like they did in training, and Shang joins them.
Yeah.
And they climb up and everything.
Except for he doesn't dress differently.
He just uses his
climbs
cape.
up with them.
Yeah.
They are able to climb up and get in into the palace, and they've got to figure out a way to distract the Huns so they can get to the emperor and stuff. So since Yao, Ling, and Qin Po are dressed as women, they decide to distract them that way.
It's like concubines.
Yeah. So that's pretty funny. And there's a chicken running, or not a chicken, the bird. Mushu spits fire at it and turns into chicken.
And they overtake the soldiers, the Han soldiers. And while that's going on, Shan Yu's like threatening the emperor and all of that. And then Shang comes up and is fighting Shan Yu.
Yep.
And everything. And Qin Po grabs the emperor and slides down on this rope with everybody else.
Yep.
And Shang got knocked out by Shan Yu. And Mulan was about to go down, but she sees that he needs help. And so she cuts the rope that was going to lead him down.
Yeah.
And Shan Yu's just like super pissed off.
Yeah. It's not a good idea.
No. And he's like, you stole my victory away. And Mulan's like, no, I did. And she reveals that she's the soldier from the mountain.
Yep.
And so she leads Shan Yu away from Shank.
Yep.
And her and Mushu are trying to come up with a plan. And they see the fireworks.
Yeah. So Mushu and the cricket head over there on a kite or something. I love this little part right here. They pop up, and the guys doing that are on the fireworks things, I think they're just the fireworks guys. They're like, well, who are you? And Mushu's like, your worst nightmare. And he's got the kite up like wings, and the little cricket guy has his little wings up And so they look like Batman and Robin, and I love it. It's so cute.
I was like, I knew you would like that part,
Yeah,
especially because, Batman reference there.
Yeah.
And so Mulan has, Xiang Yu's just, like, causing destruction to this palace, and she climbs this pole, and it, like, gets knocked off, and she is able to climb on the roof. And everything. And he has his sword, and she only has a fan.
Yeah.
But she uses that fan to take his sword away.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, are you ready? Mushu's waiting behind Xiang Yu. And so what she does, he lights it, this huge firework. She pins Xiang Yu down with his own sword.
Yep.
And she, like, grabs Mushu and just, like, jumps off the freaking roof.
Just barely, like, gets away and everything.
Because Xiang Yu got hit with a firework and got thrown to the other fireworks. And big ol' explosion.
Yep. And so then she's back down and the Emperor's out and everything. And Chifu is, like, yelling at her, saying, like, she's a disgrace to China, this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden the Emperor's like, well, now hold on a minute. She's the one that saved me. So.
He talks to Mulan. He's like, I've heard about you and all of that. And he's like, you saved us all, and he bows to her. And that is a huge thing when an emperor bows down to somebody, so everyone follows suit.
Yep.
And he's like, I want this young woman on my council.
Yeah.
And Shifu's like, there's no open positions. He's like, well, you can have his job then. And she's like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And so the emperor gives her his medal that he's been wearing around his neck and the sword from Xiang Yu. And she hugs him.
Yeah, which nobody ever does because he was, like, shocked.
But he liked it.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah.
And she hugs, like, like Yao and Shinpo and Ling and everything. And she walks up to Shang, and it's so perfect.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you fight good.
Yeah.
So awkward. So awkward. And she, like, gets on the horse and, like, rides away. And the Emperor comes up to Shang. He's like, dude, in a way, he's like, dude, get your shit together. You can't find a girl like that, all the time.
Yeah. So she goes home, and her family's, like, so excited to see her, so happy she's home, and she's showing them the medal and the sword and everything, and her father's like, well, I don't care about none of that. And he, like, hugs her and stuff, and says that she's a better gift than anything that she could have brought, and he's super happy to have her home.
And Grandma and Mom are watching this entire scene, and Grandma's like, well, why didn't she just bring home a man?
Yeah.
And then Shang just pops up.
Yeah.
He's like, is Mulan here? And they send Shang her way, because he had, her dad's helmet.
Yep.
And so he's like, trying to give it to, like, her dad and everything. He's so awkward, so nervous. Love it. And of course Mulan invites him to dinner and everything. Grandma has her famous line.
Yeah, which I wrote down, so.
Oh, good. See, I didn't say it. And then Mushu is back in their little temple, and he's gloating to the ancestors. He's like, see, didn't I do a good job?
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, you can be a guardian. And he's all happy.
Yeah. And then they have a little party. That's about it.
Yeah.
So the music for this was by Jerry Goldsmith. He did pass away in 2004. He just did, like, orchestral score. The music, the songs were Matthew Wilder did the music, and then David Zappel did the lyrics. But Jerry Goldsmith, he got started on The Clay of Kings in 1953, and then he is known for Star Trek Insurrection from 1998, LA Confidential from 1997, Star Trek Star Trek First Contact from 1996, and Congo from 1995. So he's really known for a lot of like kind of sci-fi type shows or in movies. But I think he did a really, really good job with the music for this movie. He did win 1 Oscar in 1977 for Best Music Original Score for The Omen. But yeah, like I had said earlier, this is my favorite score. This is my favorite music. Like, I love Lion King. I love everything about it, but this is my favorite score and my favorite songs.
There's some really good songs in this, and like just like the score wise, it incorporated a lot of like instruments and like melodies and themes you would associate with China.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah. He did a great job with this. So I just love it a lot. So comparison. There is a second one, and then there's also 2 live action ones. The 2021 is not out yet. We were hoping it would be out, but this whole thing happened. So
we're not able to watch it. It comes out in July.
Yeah, as of right now, it's coming out in July. And then there was also a 2009 version that it's called Mulan, Rise of a Warrior, I believe, and it is from China. It is a Chinese version of Mulan, which I did not get the chance to watch because I decided to watch the platform instead.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it either.
Did
watch the second one though.
Yeah, I did watch the second one. All I know about that live action 2009 one is that it goes more on the myth of Mulan, like the more factual type stuff, whereas, Disney's it up. Does what they want. So I don't really know much about it, but it's there. It is available on YouTube in 9-minute segments. There's 12 9-minute segments if you would like to watch them. I didn't get the chance to watch it, but that's okay. Then the second one came out in 2000 something, 2003, 2005, one of those two.
2004.
Okay. I was like, I was close. It is set 1 month after the events of this movie.
1 month afterwards. And Shang and Mulan get engaged and everything, but they can't really do much because they are asked by the Emperor to take his 3 daughters over somewhere so they can reunite, kingdoms.
Yep. So that's their mission, and Mushu finds out that because Mulan is getting married, that he will no longer be a guardian, or will be her guardian. So he is going to get demoted again. So he's not very happy about it. So he decides to try and break up the marriage.
Total asshole in this. It's like night and day between the first one and the second one with Mushu. Yeah. And I hated it.
Yeah, Mushu in this one was not a good one. I will say this is not one of the better sequels.
Nope.
It's not very good. I'm really glad that I was playing on the computer while I was watching it. So I was half paying attention. It had all the same characters, so that's good because sometimes they don't really have the same characters. They only have 1 or 2, and then it's stupid. So it did have all the same characters, so that was good. The score was alright. It's had some of the same themes and stuff, but it wasn't quite up to the quality of this one. And then I didn't really like the music in it either. So
it wasn't memorable at all.
Yeah.
It irritated me more than anything. Because I'm really? And it was it was super predictable too.
Yeah.
God forbid no one die. Sorry, I was irritated about that.
Shang almost died.
I'm just let him die. It's fine with me. Died. I was fine with that if he died. She don't need no man.
But yeah, it's not a very good sequel.
No.
So the 2021, the one that's going to come out here in July, hopefully. That one is more based on like the real events type thing. Not really Disneying it too much. I do know a couple things. It's not a musical. Like they do have music, of course. It's just not going to have the songs, which is kind of disappointing because I do love the songs in this movie. And then the other thing I do know is that they took out Mushu.
And put in a phoenix.
Yes. But, I mean, it looks good to me. Like, I am actually excited to go see it.
It's like, so they take out one fictional thing and put in another fictional thing.
Yeah. That's okay.
I'm like, I'll watch it still, but I'm like, I don't have my hopes that high. But
I don't know.
Just
I've liked the live action ones, so I'm pretty excited for this one.
I think the only live action one I've liked so far is Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is good. I liked that one. So I will be going to see the live action Mulan when it comes out. Sean actually wants to go see that one, which is, it's awesome when he like voluntarily wants to go see a Disney movie. So I'm like all for it. Because he voluntarily wanted to go see Aladdin because he likes Will Smith's, and I didn't tell him that it was still a musical. So he didn't know until we got there, and then he found out it was still like a musical, and I was like, well, there's not that many songs in it, it's fine. But then they added songs to it, so he was not very happy with me. I mean, he liked it, he just hates musicals more than I do, so. But yeah, so we'll see how that one goes. Hopefully it's good. I'm pretty excited, so.
Yeah, we'll see.
Trivia.
Okay, so this is Disney's first ever DVD.
Huh.
Because the DVD came out in late 99, actually. So it was their first one, which I think was really cool. What was it? So with the opening credits, I like this, especially with this, how it is. What they did, the animators did, was they just put watercolor on rice paper.
I do like the opening credits a lot.
They're beautiful.
That's the one thing that they brought over from the first into the second that I think they did good. So they just brought that back over. They're like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's just keep that.
I agree. This one makes me laugh, actually. So Mulan has the highest body count.
Yeah, she caused the
She kind of wiped out the Hun army, plus their horses. So she's got like 3,000 deaths on her hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a bit for a Disney movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's hilarious that she has that much of a body count, and that's a good funny trivia actually.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Oh, I like this one. So we're talking about the music. This was actually Jerry Goldsmith's last Academy Award nomination.
Oh.
Because he died only a few years later.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but I will say I forgot. So this version of Mulan is based off the poem. I was talking to you about this.
Yeah.
It's the poem called The Ballad of Mulan. Kind of like the same kind of stuff, except Mulan's gone for 10 years. Yeah, she's gone for 10 years. Yeah, she did take her father's place, and her parents didn't know about it until after she left. And again, gone for 10 years.
Yeah.
She slowly revealed herself as a woman.
Oh.
And because she had proven herself so much that they're like, you know what? Okay, fine. You're a girl.
Yeah.
You've been around for 10 years now. It's fine. And everything. And just like in the movie, the emperor wanted to make her help him out. But she's like, no, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
But when she gets home, and this is the version I read, that she comes home and her father's dead.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And she's just so upset by everything, this is one version, that she commits suicide.
Oh.
So it's not a very happy ending to this poem.
Yeah.
It really isn't. There's other versions of the poem too, but that's the one I've read.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any trivia for this one. So, favorite line? Reflect before you snack. That talks to me personally.
I was like, that is such a cat line.
I'm doomed, and all because Miss Man decided to take her cross-dressing on the road.
That's one of mine.
Of course, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Yep.
I can see why the boy's an absolute lunatic. When they're talking about why her dad doesn't talk about his son much. There are a couple of things I know they're bound to notice. He thinks he's such a lady killer. How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you. Ooh, nice. Very nice. You can sit by me. Because, like, Cricket is lucky. A life for a life, my debt is repaid. Look, concubines. Ugly concubines. Is she allowed to do that? Great, she brings home a sword. If you ask me, she should have brought home a man. And then, of course, he shows up. Oh, sign me up for the next war. And then, my last one. Would you like to stay for dinner? Would you like to stay forever?
Alright. One man may be the difference between victory and defeat. I'm going to pray some more. When will my reflection show who I am inside? Well, we all can't be acupuncturists. No, your great-granddaughter decided to be a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Just because I look like a man doesn't mean I have to smell like one. Say that to my face, you lip noodle. My little baby off to destroy people. How about a girl who's got a brain who always speaks her mind? So when I look in the mirror, I would see something worthwhile. No matter how the wind howls, the mountain cannot bow to it. My baby's all grown up and saving China. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. You don't meet a girl like that every dynasty. And this last one. The greatest gift and honor is having you for a daughter.
Yep.
And I know this is my movie, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what line should I pick? And I'm stuck between two lines. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all, or the greatest gift and honor is having you for a daughter.
I think the second one.
I was thinking that one too.
Okay. So yeah, we'll go with that one. So what is your rating?
It's the 9 for me.
Okay.
There's no other way to put it. It just fits with my 9s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much else I can say. It just fits there.
Okay. Mine is a 9 as well. Just a couple things about it, like, kind of being outdated kind of makes it 9. The fact that it's, like, super sexist. like super sexist.
Some parts really are, yes.
And then some of the animation, you know, like it's in the 90s, so it's a lower animation than like Finding Nemo that we watched last week. So the animation's a little bit outdated. But then there's also some really good animation. You know, I really love the music in this one. I really love the voice acting. They do such a great job. And they're also starting to diversify their casts more. Because we finally get more Chinese actors in this one. Whereas, like, some of the other movies, it's supposed to be based in different countries' lore. And we get American actors.
Yep.
So that's good. So, I mean, for me, this is a 9. I don't really have many complaints about it, but I love this movie. So, yep. So that's it for this one. Our next episode in our Disney event is Lilo and Stitch. So we will catch you in just a little bit with that one. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.